officers meeting.
Okay.
I can be a joke master. I have some jokes pulled out.
Okay, Justin's got some jokes. That's good. Does anybody want to take on the grammarian or the GE? I can do GE as part of my Toastmaster.
What does the grammarian entail?
The grammarian is listening to the distracting words that folks use, like ands, more of like the filler words or distracting words, like if they repeat themselves. And then also listening for good word usage. If you hear some good stuff in there that you want to let them know, and then you pick out the word of the day. You can go online or wherever and pick out a word, and we all try to use it. And then,
Right.
and then you record it on we have a piece of paper to do that. You want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I was just realizing I could do it and not do it perfectly and it would still be okay.
That would be great. Yeah. You would match what I.
Amazing.
Mhm.
We might be out of grammarian script.
We should. Oh, did I not make?
Um,
We should. Sometimes you don't with that.
Oh, I'm gonna look at the wrong one.
There we go.
Oh. Aha. Justin, you're the best. All right, here you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, my husband hates it when I say perfect. There's one of those filler words already.
It's only a filler word if you use it like a bunch of times and then it's distracting, right?
Right.
Perfect was appropriate there. Okay, so Buffy is going to be our grammarian today.
And how do I pick the word of the day? Just randomly or?
Yeah, if just a word comes to your head, that's great. You just have to give a definition for it and use it in a sentence. So a lot of times we just look online and I just write word of the day and something pops up from Webster's dictionary or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this meeting started. Welcome everyone to Meridian Toastmasters. It's wonderful to see you all out there in Zoom land as well as in the room here at Lacey. And I think we have a new member, Sarah. And Buffy, are you officially a member yet? You are? Yes. So excited. So I can say, welcome members. We don't really have any guests today, but we will soon, I promise you.
Have we done an induction ceremony for them or not?
Oh, we need to do that. We'll have to do that on one of our upcoming meetings.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder, Madam President. Now, before we get started, let's go ahead and bring Justin up here for some levity as our joke master today. Justin.
Thank you. Well, first, I just get our minds thinking right off the bat. Why are iPhone chargers not called apple juice? No answer required.
Oh, that's a good one.
How does a computer get drunk?
Ooh. The computer get drunk.
It takes screenshots.
Oh, that's a good one.
My computer said hello to me. What make is it?
Ooh.
Windows. Hello.
Adele.
Yeah. Oh.
Song by Adele.
Oh, that was pretty good. You have to know her music though, right?
You'd have to know.
Thank you, Justin. Always with the jokes. I love it. Now, if I could just remember one of them, that's my problem. I
That's
never
right.
remember jokes.
Then you could just tell it over and over again.
Yeah, it's like the same joke over and over. I think I did that at a recent meeting. The one that I remember from 6th grade, like, how do you make a Kleenex dance? Put a little boogie in it.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to describe our roles. This is a chance for all of us to speak. Every time we have to speak and explain things is another chance for us to practice our speaking skills. And for folks that are new to Toastmasters, Buffy and Sarah, it's a chance for them to get to know these roles better as they learn the way Toastmasters works. So the first role that I'm going to ask for an explanation of is general evaluator, and that's me. today. So as the general evaluator, I am going to evaluate the meeting from start to finish, note things that we did well, note things that we can improve upon. And if there's any tidbits that I can give to our speech evaluators, I will do that. Generally, our speech evaluators are so good, there's not much for me to say, but it is nice to have at least one person paying attention to the entirety of the meeting to kind of see how it flows as a package. The next role I'm going to ask for an explanation of is timer. Sarah, would you like to explain what the timer does for us today?
So do I just read like pretty much everything on this thing?
Yeah, I think, let's see here.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters. As timer, I will I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. For table topics, speakers should limit their speeches to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I raised the green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, yellow card, and at 2 minutes, I raised the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their speeches to specific time frames. Okay. Icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, green card. At 5 minutes, the yellow card, and 6, the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I raise the green card. At 6 minutes, the yellow card, and at 7 minutes, the red card. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. And so at 2 minutes, green card, 2 minutes 30 seconds, the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, the red card. Okay, I think that's it.
Great, thank you so much, Sarah. All right. Next, I'm going to ask Buffy, would you explain to us what the grammarian does?
I would be delighted. And do you want me to stand up?
Sure.
I am Buffy, and I am the grammarian counter. My role as grammarian and counter is to introduce the word of the day and encourage its use by speakers, evaluators, and table topic participants. I will note who uses the WOD, word of the day, or derivative of it, correctly or incorrectly. Do you want me to read that, what that word is now?
Sure, that'd be great.
So the word is galumph.
Galumph.
Galumph. Galumphed, galumphing, galumphs. To move with a clumsy, heavy tread. Good luck. I will listen to word usage and note any awkward misuse or spectacular use of the English language. I will also note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause, fillers such as and, well, but, and by anyone who speaks during the meeting. I will give my report at the end of the meeting.
Great. Thank you so much, Buffy. And you can stay standing because now I'm going to ask you to tell us what the table topics master does since you are doubling up today.
Well, thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored new members. The purpose of the topics master is to facilitate table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. I will introduce a topic and call on speakers who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Buffy. Well done, everyone. At this time, since we have explained all of the roles, I am going to ask Kim to introduce our first speaker of the day, who is Justin Bellis. Kim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow members, and no on guests today. Excuse me, I've got something on my throat. I am pleased to introduce Justin for our first speech. This speech is going to be on planning a project. And with that, I turn over to Justin.
Thank you. Kim, fellow Toastmasters, great to be here today. Is anybody in the room familiar with the local news publication called The Jolt? It's a great local news publication. It stands for the Journal of Olympia and Lacey and Tumwater. If you haven't heard of it or haven't read it, it's really good, focused on local stuff. Not as many articles, but they're really good. A few months ago, I was reading an article by Jill Sever entitled Water for Our Gardens, Water for Us. You're familiar with that? Great.
Well, Jill is my neighbor.
Oh, she's your neighbor.
Yeah.
Great. Well, she mentions in her article about having no water for one day. It was a scheduled outage. You might have been impacted by it. She said the reason the shutdown was for a fire hydrant replacement in the front of her house. And she got to stay home and watch them replace this fire hydrant. And as she's watching them replace this fire hydrant, she marveled at the work and all the experience and background it takes to replace a simple fire hydrant. And then she got to reflecting on how water is something that we have whenever we want to, at our ease, at our comfort, just turning on a faucet, and there it is. And it's something that we take for granted. And she went on to close out the article by giving thanks not only to the water workers, but the other public works staff that make our lives so much easier on a day-to-day basis. And that article got me thinking about the work that I do. In specific, I'm working on a project on College Street Northeast. And the project overall, it's designed to realign the roadway, because it currently goes up College Street, it turns into 6th Avenue around the corner. They're going to make it a T intersection with the stop sign. Well, along with that, they're replacing the water main. The water main's really old. It needs replaced before it fails. Don't want it to fail under a brand new paved road. So we had to go ahead and replace this. Well, replacing a water line that's in service is no easy feat. People are using this water. We can't just shut it off, tear it out, and put a new one in. People are using it. We can schedule water outages for 8 to 10 hours at a time at the most. It's very challenging to work around those parameters. Water pipe's rigid, so if you're going over the existing water main to make a connection, you have to make bends, you can go under it. There's other obstacles, the phone, the power, the gas, everything else is underground. You have to work around that. People are drinking the water. We have to be really careful to install it clean and sanitarily. That way, when we get our required samples before people drink out of it, the samples pass. Not to mention, the contractor has to work in traffic, and there's always an angry motorist out there that's just not happy they got delayed. Well, my role usually starts from the very initial phase with the recommendation. I go over the plans and know where the water breaks are, where the old mains are. I make a recommendation, this needs replaced. Then I have to come up with a constructability plan to make sure that we can work around the obstacles out there and actually replace it. And then I identify special provisions that may be needed, such as night work, weekend work, or even going outside the project limits and cutting in isolation valves so that we can work within the project limits. Well, one special provision I had to work around were the 2 hotels on Park Center Drive. We had to make a connection that's going to put the hotels out of water. Hotels cannot be without water. It's very impactful for them. Most businesses close at night, weekends. Worst case, there's a slow day or two. We can shut off their water. Very minimal impact to them. Hotels, on the other hand, there's always people there. And people reserve months, weeks, even a year in advance. Be very impactful to them to shut off their water. On top of that, the bad publicity. I had to come up with a way, see if I come up with a way where I could provide them water service while this connection was being made. I looked at the map program I have, and I saw that there's 2 fire hydrants, 450 feet away. There's some valves that I could close off to isolate that system, and I could run a fire hose above ground. Needed to see if that would work. According to my map program, ArcGIS Pro, fire hydrants are 450 feet apart. We have 500 feet of water potable hose, just enough. And fire hose, any hose for that matter, that's gonna be drank out of, has to be certified as water potable. The typical garden hose or fire hose the fire department uses can't be used because it can leach chemicals. It's really not safe to be drinking out of. But there is special designed hose and garden hose you can drink out of. So we have a supply of that we can use. On top of that, we have to make sure it's clean and sanitary also. So we do take extra precautions to make sure it's safe to drink out of. Well, everything looked good on my computer, but of course, that's the way it always works. So I sent out a field staff member to evaluate the site to see if it would actually work. He went out there and determined it would work. We could run the hose under a fence, through some low-growing vegetation, and I'm gonna try and use your word, but I can't remember, crumpetly. Galumped through the field up to the next fire hydrant, and it would work. Just enough. So there we had it. We had a workable plan. We got the go ahead. I gave the official approval. We can make this project work. Went ahead. Once everything went through, the final plans, the specs, the bidding and the award, finally the day came to implement the plan. And this is quite a bit later. It takes some time to get this stuff going. Day came about 1 week before the scheduled shutdown. I had the crews run out this fire hose. And again, we keep it clean and sanitary, ends cap, but we have to take some samples and disinfect it before anybody can drink out of it. And it's about a week-long process, maybe about 4 days. So run the hose out, disinfect it, get our samples. Once everything passes, then it is official. We can actually go ahead and do it. The day of the connection, they shut off the line, did their work, turned the water back on, got our samples, unhooked the temporary line. The hotels didn't even notice. It was a success, right? We did it. And that's how us in public works know we're doing our job well. When people don't even notice, you turn on your water, there it is. You flush the toilet, it goes away. People drive down the streets. Occasionally there's obstacles, but for the most part, you have a good, trouble-free experience getting to where you need to go. So if all that's working for you, I encourage you to consider the words Jill Severed, not to take this stuff for granted, but give thanks and be grateful for the things that we have that make our life so much easier every day.
Thank you so much, Justin, for that speech. That was such a great speech. And I want to thank you for a great speech, but I also want to thank you for your public service.
Thank you.
Yeah, I grew up in the city of Lacey.
Nice. Well, you
So-
too. I mean, you kind of keep our waters clean too, right?
That's true. That's true. But the work is important. Public employees are very important. And
Yeah.
you're right. If we're doing our jobs well, things are flawless. So that's really, really good. And I'll tell Jill that you quoted her in your speech today. All right, next, I'm going to introduce Kathy, who is going to be evaluating Robin today. So Kathy, would you like to introduce Robin?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Today, our president and our distinguished Toastmaster, Robin Lee, will be giving a speech. And I am not exactly sure of the title, but I am sure it is about something healthy and longevity. I introduce to you Robin Lee.
Two of my friends went to the ER at death's door in one day. One with liver cancer, a cracked rib, and possible internal bleeding. The other one with digestive issues, possibly cancer, and life-threatening injuries. This hit me pretty hard, and it was a big wake-up call because I realized for all that I've been learning about health and longevity and extending the vibrant years of our lives, I hadn't been sharing it with people. That is stopping today. And I am really happy. I'm creating a course that I call Achieving Longevity. And this morning, something hit me because all the time that I've been talking about this, people say young people aren't interested in longevity. You know, I have to pick which generation I want to be targeting. And this morning, I started to understand that the reason that I care about all of the generations learning about the principles that I have to keep them healthy and well as long as possible and to be able to correct any conditions that run in their family is because it'll actually take generations of mindset change, of changing how we do things in our culture and how we bring our children up, if we are actually to achieve what scientists have said in that the first person to live to 150 has already been born. Nothing in our culture is set up to make that how we plan our own lives or what we teach our children and what they can experience in their life. We're still planning for getting a job that you would retire sometime between, you know, now it's maybe 75 instead of 65. But we're still not planning for an extended, whether it's extended retirement or moving into a job that you love, all kinds of aspects of our lifestyle and our culture are really preventing us from living in vital health and wellness for an extended length of time. When I ask people how long they want to live and why, it's often not what they respond. What they respond with is, I don't want to suffer, I don't want to run out of money, and I don't want to have no friends and family. And so as I'm creating my program, Activate Longevity, I'm endeavoring to help people address all of the issues that would make it so that they are continuing to love life so much that they could have it go on for that extended life. And so this coming Tuesday, I'm actually going to be doing a free webinar, and it's going to be called The 3 Building Blocks for Mastering Family Health. And I'm pulling up, this is my graphic for the 6 building blocks of longevity. The masterclass that I'm doing on Tuesday is going to be talking about 3 of these: habits, thoughts, and home. And the reason that I decided to choose those 3 is because they are the ones that I feel like the whole family could fairly easily move on those 3 areas and make significant difference for each one of the family members individually and as a collective, that they can be overall improving the quality of their health. And I've just moved things and I can't see my timer person. Okay. So when I look at how do I inspire people to want to extend the healthy long years of their life, first, they have to believe that it's possible, and they have to know why they would want to do it. And so a lot of what I will do in my masterclass, as well as the 12-week class, is helping people to understand what's possible in your health, that we don't have to believe everything that we see on TV when it comes to the constant ads for pharmaceuticals and things. Our whole culture is actually, it's almost like it's designed to make us think that we have to get old, and once we start being on medications, we're going to have that for the rest of our lives. And with all the things that I've learned, especially with the having added Ayurveda, the science of life, to my repertoire of things that I've gotten trained in, I know that the body absolutely can heal itself given the right components. And so as we learn what's possible when we detox and nourish, then we can all improve our health and our quality of life as long as we want to be here. I invite you all to come to my event on Tuesday. Since we're all members here, then I will drop the link in our text thread so that you can register for that. It'll be Tuesday at 6 p.m. Hope to see you there. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Please say where? Where's it at?
Oh, it's on Zoom.
Oh,
It's on Zoom, so we'll have a link.
thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Robin. I think I speak for everybody here in that we just really enjoy learning from you and learning about ways that we can extend our healthy lives. And that's really important for families too. So I've got a little kid at home, and my husband and I are Gen X, getting up there in age. So that would be really great. Okay, at this time, I am going to ask Buffy, who is our table topics master today, to lead us in some extemporaneous speaking. All right, Buffy.
All right.
Buffy, do you want me to take over as grammarian while you're in that role?
That would be fabulous.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Yes, so as, thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and hypothetical guests. The purpose of, as we know, is to offer people an opportunity to take 2 minutes to discuss or share or speak about what was your favorite childhood meal. Oh, we have a Kim.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. What a great question for first table topic. My absolute favorite childhood dish or food is it's a combination of dry fish, believe it or not, and I don't know what kind of fish it is. I should probably ask my parents, but it's this dry fish that you can only find in Southeast Asia. The way that they do it with drying and marinating or whatever that they do, give it such a distinct scent to it. And the scent is not, for most people, not palatable or not good, but to me, it smells amazing. It's because I grew up with it. Now, that's just only one piece of the dish. The other two, but that's what makes it really, really good is the fish. What actually combines with that fish is actually watermelon. You would think to yourself, why would you have watermelon and fish together? But the fish is salty, the watermelon is sweet and juicy. When you combine it together, it's the main dish. There's not a name for it, I don't think. I honestly think that my mom just came up with it. But you eat that and you include with rice, and that makes it one of my favorite childhood meal. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else? I'm Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I'm salivating over here after hearing that last dish. But my early memory has to do with Thanksgiving and all of the dishes that presented themselves on the table, such as macaroni and cheese, whipped potato salad. At that time, I ate ham. There was roast. There was black eyed peas. There was corn. There were green beans. I mean, everything, the whole table was full of food. And the desserts had their own table. My mother would make desserts from scratch. She knows how to make the pie crust, and she made it so flaky and light. And at the time, we were using Crisco, which I will never use that, but Crisco lard, and we actually ate chitlins a lot, and I never want to eat those again. But I remember eating those with hot sauce and just enjoying everything that was cooked because it was prepared in such a way that everything was clean. Because if you know anything about eating organs, you have to really clean them thoroughly. but they are very nutritious for you. They are high in fiber. But again, I don't want to relive some of those dishes, but the fact that it was so much food, so filling, so palatable to my palate, I just loved the cooking. The pies were the best. My mom, she made cherry pies, and I would always eat the filling before she could even get it in the dish. So that's my earliest memory. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
About done, but I think we could sneak one more.
More in, I'll take the last one. What was my favorite childhood meal? Still is when I feel under pressure. And my kids will often ask for this when they're feeling ill or just stressed or something. And that's tuna casserole. And my mother made a tuna casserole with one bag of frozen peas in the bottom, and then a layer of crushed up potato chips. We didn't use pasta. We just used crushed up potato chips, and then a layer of, or no, it was the tuna fish on the bottom. Sorry, tuna fish on the bottom, potato chips, and then the peas on the top, and then you make a white sauce and you put that over the top. And that was it. And I had to learn how to make white sauce because it's just flour and milk and butter. That's all it is. And I ended up throwing some spices in to give it a little bit of panache. But that should have been my word of the day. Anyway, that's the one that my kids lean into. It reheats really nicely, and unfortunately, my husband doesn't care for tuna fish, so we never have it at home unless I'm craving it. And I have a friend who's requesting some meals to be delivered to her. She's not able to get out and about right now, so I'm offering to make up a big batch of tuna casserole for her. It's always been a comfort food in my family, and I don't cook a lot, so that's one I'm happy with. I'm complete.
Thank you, Buffy, and thanks for all of you for
Contributing.
Thank you. Sometimes you just need someone to put that word right in there for you. I'm going to be able to move right into the general evaluation now, and I'm just going to move quickly along since we snuck an extra
Evaluators first, please.
evaluations. What am I doing? Oh my
So
goodness.
did time also.
Yeah, I got so excited. So evaluations. So the first evaluation will be Kim Chen evaluating Justin. Kim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Hello, Toastmasters. I'm honored to be evaluating Justin's speech today. I will use the good, better, best method of Toastmaster, and I'll give 1 or 2 items at the end for that need a feedback that requires a little bit of work from my perspective. So the good, Justin, I love that your stories in your speech always starts with a question because it always brings me thinking about what is he going to ask me about. And it's such a good question too, because it's about relating to a topic that we all share and need, and that's water. And to continue with the good, you had lots of vocal variety. I could hear really well. Your body language was there. You moved a lectern out of the way so we can see you fully presenting yourself. And you also included a quote, which is always nice because your story includes details about the the quote. It ties into what your speech is about. Moving on to better, I love how your story includes details. You share it in a way where it's almost step by step. It gives the plan, and you go into the hose specification and sanitation, the cleanness and inspection, and then you share with us the steps that you do for us part of your work in your speech to kind of give us a full picture idea of how what your work in water sanitation and what you do as a public service out there is makes it easy for us to just turn on the faucet and get fresh water. So that's the better part. And the best, I think the overall best is just the story because it connects with everyone here. we kind of relate and understand that. And I thought it was interesting to me because it is one of those things, because you popped the question already at the beginning. I hadn't really thought so much about how do I get too much about how I get fresh water and how easily it is to me and accessible it is until I start to think about it. And so being able to share about that and having that topic as your speech is really the best part. The one thing that I started writing on here and I noticed was I thought that maybe you could move around a little bit, but then halfway through your speech, you start moving around because I thought you were pretty stoic in the way that you just stood there, but then you start using the space in the room. So I wanted to mention that because I think that could use a little bit more of that. And also the other thing I thought would be cool was to bring like a water of some sort as props for the speech. It's just kind of as a prop. But overall, I really liked it. Thank you for sharing about what you do and also how um, how we can take things for granted. Back and with that, I turn it back to you, Madam Tabletop Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kim, for that wonderful evaluation of Justin's speech. And next, we have Kathy to evaluate Robin's speech. Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, specifically Robin Lee. Thank you again for delivering a great speech that I knew would have something to do with longevity and health, and you hit the nail right on the head. I'll start with the things that I really enjoyed about your speech and the presentation, some things you might want to work on, and then I'll end it with some great things as well. Just put it in a sandwich for you. Starting out with your background, I really love your background. You added the other square last, but most of the speech you had the two flowers as your backdrop, which silhouetted your head pretty good. There was no galumping around. It was very smooth transitions. Those were the great things. The other thing that was great was the scripting. You did some scripting with the fingers. You numbered some things with your fingers when you gave the 3 building blocks. The information, I know when you give presentation, it's not about the content, but I dare say your content was compelling because you gave things that were helpful that we can actually consider to put into practice. And you gave us a call to action at the end and an invitation to actually be a part of what you are creating. So those are the positive things that I saw. Some things you might want to consider to work on is because you wear glasses, there is a glare that shows and you can see the reflection. So if you are doing this on Zoom, which it sounds like you are, you might consider where your light is and the reflection of the light. I don't know if you're using a ring light or the light is the reflecting from your camera, from your video. I don't know where the light's coming from, but that's something you might want to consider because we can see what you're seeing in essence in your glasses. That's one consideration. The other one has to do with interruptions. When something interrupts us or takes us off course when we're speaking, we know it, or you know it, but we don't know it until you bring it to our attention. So when you said that you lost your place or couldn't see the timer, that was a distraction that I think with more practice or with more concentration or focus, you could skip over that or use it as part of your speech. So that was the other thing you might want to consider when there's an interruption. And then last but not least, the scripting of the hands, even though, and I'm doing it myself, even though you had some specific scripting, most of the time your hands were either in this position or you were doing I don't know what I want to call this, the paused hands, where the hands are doing the talking while you're talking, that sort of thing. So that's something to really consider. I think if you turn those 3 things around and you focus on what you're delivering and not let the distractions throw you off, you have a very compelling speech with a powerful opening. I missed that powerful opening Even though you were muted at first, I didn't count that against you. When you actually started speaking, it was powerful because you presented a problem and then you ended with a call to action with a solution. So thank you again for a powerful presentation. I look forward to hopefully being present for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for that wonderful evaluation. And I know you have to leave a little early today, so we'll just say goodbye to you now. And now it's my turn to be general evaluator. I'm sorry I forgot about the evaluation portion of the meeting. So for our general evaluation, I'm going to talk for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to call up our reports today from Sarah and Buffy. So for the general evaluation, we did great with starting close to being on time. We got all the roles filled before we officially started the meeting, and that's always a plus. The technology worked fairly seamless, and I want to thank you, Justin, for making the screen bigger while Robin was talking. I was sitting there thinking, she needs to be bigger so we can see her, because the way we had it set up on our end, Robin, was it was exactly quarter screens, and you were in 1/4. So Justin made you the full screen, and that was really helpful. In terms of evaluations, we have really experienced evaluators evaluating today. So both Kim's evaluation and Kathy's evaluations were excellent. Did a great job of explaining what the speakers did well and then giving them a little bit to work on, which is hard to do when you have experienced speakers, because you're kind of like picking at the little things and just trying to help them get even better at what they're doing. The only additional thing that I thought for Justin, and the only reason I saw is because I was sitting close to you, when you were trying to think of what you were going to say next, you kind of looked outside. And I noticed that, and I don't know if there's a way to kind of look somewhere more in the room when you're kind of recalling something, just so people feel like they have your attention the whole time. And that was, again, one of those things, because I happened to be sitting right by you, like literally a foot from where you were sitting. But your speech was incredible, one of your best speeches, and just really compelling and really interesting. And same with you, Robin, just super compelling and interesting. You both are such great storytellers and speakers, and it's an honor to hear you when you have something to share with us during your speech time. The last thing I'm going to say is I want to say great job, Buffy, for jumping into 2 roles today. You did not glump through this meeting. You did an excellent job of taking on 2 roles. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call up our first report of the day, Sarah, since I just saw my green card. I made the 3 minutes, or the 2 minutes, I think is what it is.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, so I guess I'll start with in order of like so starting with the prepared speeches. So Justin's yours was 6 so it's supposed to be between 5 to 7 minutes, right? Okay. So Justin's yours was 6 minutes and 49 seconds. Nice. And Robin, yours was 5 minutes and 58 seconds. I actually didn't notice that you were on mute, so it's like I waited until you actually started speaking. And the table topics. Kim, yours was 1 minute and 28 seconds. Kathy's was 1 minute and 45 seconds. And Buffy, yours was 1 minute and 29 seconds. And then evaluations. Kim's evaluation of Justin was 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Kathy's evaluation of Robin's speech was 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And the general evaluation was 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Excellent.
Well captured.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done, Sarah. That was a very good report on timing, and well done all of us for being right in those windows of time where we should have been. Well done. Next, I would like to ask Buffy to give the Augramarian report.
Augramarian report, and this is the not perfect Augramarian report.
That's
Thank you.
okay.
I found very little. I had to remind myself to not listen to the content. I was so hooked into the content that I was, oh yeah, I gotta pay attention to how he's saying it. So I found, you said, as far as I could see, one such as that, and one word of the day, but you didn't use it correctly, unfortunately. Galumphing is more of a physical galumphing. I can't remember exactly the context that you used it, but a nice try. As far as Robin, she had one that I caught, one two and so's, one tongue click, and that was it. Words that I appreciated hearing, isolation, use that phrase, isolation valve.
Yeah.
I caught my attention. I like that phrase. And then Robin, vital health and wellness, and that phrase, I don't want to suffer, that, you know, we all say, I want to live to be old, but I don't want to suffer. So caught my attention. Kim, in your evaluation of Justin, you said twice, as far as I could tell. Kathy did a great job of including the word of the day once, and then our general evaluator, Brandy, also included the word of the day once.
Yay.
So there we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Can I add my one
yeah.
during table topics?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Buffy, you had quite a bit, especially when you first started. It was like the nervousness was there. Once you started going, you didn't have as many, but you still had a lot. But I think I just want to mention, I have never seen a table topics that had more than, my max was 21 in a minute and a half. And I'm like, how is that even possible? So we get better as we practice. I just want to let you know that. So you had 11 one and what, 2 and us, 5 ands, 7 a so and a so
All right.
and then Kim had it actually, and so filling, so palatable. And so one other thing, I thought, well, that might be a good use of, so you could also practice using other things, or really emphasizing filling, palatable. And then Kathy, you had one or one and then you kept saying, and there was, and there were. And so I thought those were also things you could leave those out when you were talking about the different dishes, or choose to say other things. And I was so gonna try and use galump. I'm like, I could see old people galumping around, and I totally forgot. So there you have it. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Robin. And I'm going to send it back to you, Madam President, to close out our meeting today.
That's right. I'm so glad to be able to be in my role as the president once in a while. As the president, just catching myself in an one of the things that I did as I was trying to put in our club success plan, and at the beginning of that, they make you commit. Once you push this button, your club has to do it all online. So now we have to do it all online, even though by myself, I felt like I couldn't actually continue to fill out every part of it. So I think we need to get together as officers to to get that finished at some point. And then besides that, I want to say welcome to our 2 new members. I think it's fabulous that the club is growing even while I haven't been able to be there for your meetings as you're joining. But I am off and on in Olympia right now. I'm actually at Buffy's house. And so if you want to arrange to meet with me, in addition to meeting with Justin, our VP of Education, then you can certainly set up send me a text, and I would totally be up for a meeting with any of you to talk about your Toastmaster educational goals and what you might like for the future. And then let's call on the roles for who wants to do a role next week. Who wants to be Toastmaster? Anybody want to be Toastmaster?
Got it once.
What was that?
Nothing.
Or we could actually go around the room and say, what role do you want? Justin, what role do you want?
Good question. Let me look at the calendar.
Brandy?
Good question. Let me look at my calendar.
And looks like you're gonna go and pick that up in person. Buffy?
I would like to keep going with the topics, the table topics.
Okay.
And I'm willing to continue with the grammarian as I see.
Oh, as a general rule, you should not do both of those
Okay.
at the same time, because why I took the
Right.
grammarian from you during table topics.
Right. Okay.
Okay, you're in table topics. Sarah, you want to do something?
I'll do timer next week.
Timer again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll probably do a table topic next week. I don't know. We'll see. Someone will.
I do encourage you.
When I do timer.
I do encourage you both to get on the schedule pretty soon to do your icebreaker, because it's good not to wait for too long. And I love helping people with their icebreakers, and I told Buffy I'm totally up for that. So Sarah, I would be up for that too. And you can also talk to Kim, maybe, if you're interested in a mentor, and we can see who in the club might be a good mentor for you if you want a mentor for at least your first 3 to 6 speeches. And
That would be helpful.
one of the things that you can kind of, as you're getting to know people's speaking styles, then you might look at it from where do you need the most help. So like if you want use of the stage, I am still one of the people who is the worst at using the stage fully. So I wouldn't necessarily be the person to go to for that. But as you're looking at people's speaking styles, then like I love Kathy's use of the stage and her gestures. I mean, Cassie's when she did the polar hair during her contest speech, that was amazing, right? So there are different people within our club that have different skill sets that you can totally take advantage of in whether you're just asking them for tips when you're there in person after the meeting, or if you want to see if they'd be interested in mentoring you. Anything else I need to cover besides when is our next officer meeting? Or is that tonight?
I just got to run
Or
for
next
a
night?
meeting for work, guys. So I'll catch you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah, maybe we should talk over text and get that planned. Get our next
Okay.
meeting planned. Because my question that I was going to ask about the club success plan is, when does that have to be done by? It's the end of September?
Well, if we want to try and get the 75 district bucks for a good start, then we need to have the club success plan and 8 paid members by the 15th of September.
Okay.
And then if we don't make it, we still need to have it by the 30th of September, or we don't have a chance at being distinguished.
Okay. I need to send out a email about dues.
Yes,
I will do
definitely.
as the, and then I have a question really quick, because I am new to being treasurer and I still need to get trained up with Kathy. Her and I need to find a time to do that. For Sarah's dues, were you gonna make a check out, Sarah, or were you gonna
I was thinking of doing code, but I suppose,
card?
yeah,
Okay,
so.
okay, and that's for the, maybe we should talk offline about how to get Sarah paid up, because that's a question for me. How do I do that? So,
So I know that there is, if you do the Toastmasters International